Look, all you guys out there that are high rollers, these heavy hitters, that you guys got businesses where you're making 5 million, 10 million, $50 million a year that have this money parked and you're like, dude, I want to get into real estate investing. Like I try to share with them all the time, like the wealth effect is what you want to be looking at, right? So real estate, naturally, multifamily. When I'm talking real estate, I'm talking commercial multifamily real estate, great properties, great location, cash flowing already. That's the level of real estate. That's the vehicle where you're the best vehicle to me, where you're going to be able to play the wealth effect game. All right. So let's just say you're a heavy hitter. Let's say your business is doing 5 million, $10 million a year, and you socked away some money. Let's say you got to buy half of it. Let's just use 500 grand. All right. Not that that's a lot of money, but you're not going to throw down 5, 10, $20 million just like that, right? You're going to dip your toe in the water. But let's say your tolerance is about 500K. So let's say you were to put 500,000 in a deal, one of our deals, whatever. Like I said, let's say we had to put together 30 million for the down payment for the equity piece, and you're going to throw in half a million. So, because I get guys that ask me, dude, I got 500K. What would that look like? So here's what it would look like. In any deal I look at, I'm always like, hey, can this deal make 5% on our money at some point? That's the goal. So let's just say you put in 500 grand. We're expecting 5% back on our money. Boom. Now, the thing is the wealth effect happens over long periods of time. So you got to have a long thought process. Everybody who's playing the wealth game is not thinking, well, in 2 months, I'm going to make X. They're thinking, dude, I'm going to put my money here in 2024. And then in 2034, I'm going to look back and I'm going to see what I got. And that money should have doubled or tripled for me. That's really the wealth effect because they're still focusing on their business and pumping and grinding and growing, right? So, but this scenario, boom. So in this situation, you're going to 25K a year. In 10 years, let's just go 10 years because most of my deals are structured 7 to 10 years. Stick with me on this. Let me show you. You would have made 250K. That's 50% of your money back. We already got 50% of our money back. So if you put in 500,000, you can almost be 50% whole on your investment over the 10-year hold. You're already good, right? That's not doing anything. And you haven't lost your 500,000. In pretty much most of the deals we're looking at, your $500,000 in real estate with leverage is worth 3 times its money. So that 500K is really worth 1.5 million in a deal. But stick with me. Wealth effect, wealth effect. So now we can't expect the rents in that property to not go up. I got one job anyways, as a fund manager, syndicator, raise rents, and then that raises value of the asset, right? For me and my investors. So let's just say 5% a year. Because rents in this country since 1945 has continued to go up. I know people are like, oh, but we're playing the housing game. And if you take a look at that trajectory, that graph on like if you Google that, you're like 1945 rents in America, rents have consistently gone up roughly 8 to 9% a year. We're not even using 8 to 9%. We're going to use 5%, right? Usually I budget anywhere from 3 to 5%. And if you watched from like 2019, COVID all the way through now, rents went up like damn near 25%. That is not going to consistently happen, but 5% is good. So another 5%, 5 years. And let's say we only got 5 years of that. Instead of 10 years, we only, out of these 10 years, the last 5 years of that, we started raising rents, right? So we're at about 12.5. So that's 125,000 of your money. So we're already looking awesome. That's $325,000 of the 500,000 that you invested that came back to you in cash flow to you. And if I do this right, because we will, most of that $325,000 that comes back to you in cash flow is probably not going to be taxed anyways because we're going to depreciate the property. Accelerated depreciation. We don't want to wait. We want to accelerate it. All right. So think about that. The wealth effect. You have not lost your 500 grand. 500,000 is worth 1.5 in a deal. Put that here. Probably worth about 1.5 million in that deal. Right? So your 1.5, your money's still sitting in a deal. You haven't lost your money. Rule of investing. Number one rule of investing, Warren Buffett says, don't lose money. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So then we have 5% coming in a year. Over 10 years, we've made over $250,000 just in cash flow back on our money as is. And 5 of those 10 years, the income of that asset went up, right? Now we had another 5% over the top of that. Now we're at 325 total. That is how money is created. Now, we haven't even talked about the money. So let's say in this situation, because this is typically how I look at all my deals. Like, can this happen? So you have your 325. That's your cash flow that you've been getting, right? 325K. And then later, when I look to sell, I'm gonna look to sell minimum, make another 500,000, double what we paid for it. So we get that back. So now we have $825,000, 25. So you made this, you made 325,000 cash flow, and when we sold, you got $500,000 over the top of that. Plus, you got the 500K back, right? So that's 1.325. So your $500,000 turned into 1.325, right? Really, it's 1.3. It's probably 1.375. 75. Boom. 1.375 over 10 years. This is how money is created. It multiplied whether you did something or not. Your money, your 500,000, not lost, kept in an asset that kept up with appreciation. It appreciated, kept up with inflation, right? It outpaced inflation through appreciation, and your $500,000 turned into 1.375 million. That's what you're looking to do, right? This is typically how this works in a deal. Now, the better scenario is rather than selling the property, exiting the deal, we go back to the bank and then we refi. And then I give you your 500K back anyways. You still had 325. And this is non-taxable. So then we pay no tax on this money. This is typically how that wealth game works. That looks super scribble scrabbly, but you get it. So you're not paying any tax on the 500,000. Your original 500 you got back, and you're still in the deal, still cash flowing. That's really how these games work. So the wealth effect is about one, investing in an asset that the value of your money goes up. So your 500,000 turns into 1.5. You get cash flow while you wait, the 5%, and the revenue of that building. I mean, the rents and all the other stuff, whether it's pet deposits, amenity charges, all the other stuff that we do to make a property more valuable or not. We just, hey, you know what? Do just straight inflation every year. We're in a great location and we go and raise the rents. We raise the rents by 5%. Like that happens. Then all of a sudden, we go back to the lender and go, hey, look at the new value of this property. And they would say, hey, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll refinance it. And then we give all of our investors their initial money back, tax-free. It's a non-taxable event and still in the asset. And now you're still getting cash flow. You're still going. And then later we decide to sell. We sell for 500,000. You got your money back plus 500. Plus, that's how this right here turns into 1.8 million. Your 500 turned into 1.8 million, but you had zero money in the deal. Like, this is the wealth effect. This is the wealth effect. It gets me excited because no one teaches this. Like, you aren't taught this in school. You aren't taught to be wealthy in school. You're taught to like go to work, get a job, save your money, pay your credit card bills, go to college, get college debt, hopefully pay that off, get married, get a kid, buy a house, all the things that trap you into never playing this game. Most of the people who do this never save enough money to invest. And most of the people who can invest can't invest in a deal big enough or large enough where it's actually going to produce any type of wealth for them. It just produces savings. That's why I said your retirement account is a trap. It's a scam. Put your money away, only a couple $1,000s a year. And hopefully when you get old enough, it'll be there for you. And let me tell you, it won't. And I was going through this on another training because let's say you invest any money into a retirement account. Let's say you got your retirement account. Boom. You hit, let's say you hit 70 years old. At 70 years old, you are required by law to take out 4% a year, or 72 or 73 years old, whatever that is. Let's say you live another 20 years. Boom, 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 or another 25 years. In 25 years later, this 4% will be 100% of your money gone at the time when you needed it most. And you're going to be taxed. Because as you start taking money out of your retirement account, again, that 500,000 will go down to zero because 100% of it will be gone, 4% a year. And oh, by the way, you're going to get taxed on the money that you take out because it's going to come to you as ordinary income. You're going to be taxed, period. And how many of you guys think that the taxes will be higher as you get older? It don't matter who wins the presidency and all the things going on. The deficit in the United States of America right now will warrant them constantly raising taxes, whether they raise taxes on businesses, which get passed on to the consumer, or they raise taxes on you, period, which they're already talking about doing. They keep saying it's going to go for the wealthy, but they've been saying that for 100 years, and it has not hit the wealthy. It's only hit the middle class. And when it hits corporate taxes, corporates stop doing businesses, the cost of goods go up because basics of supply and demand, and that also hits the consumer in the pocket. Boom, that's going to happen. So if you're going to play this wealth effect game, but you need to play from the position of, look, if I had $500,000 and I were to invest it in a deal, passively in a deal, you need to understand a couple of things when you do that. Number one, preserve capital. You don't want to lose your money. I said that first. Number one rule of investing, don't lose money. All right. Number two, you need cash flow. Like I showed you, that 5% a year coming in is cash flow, right? When you invest, you want to at least have cash flow coming in per year. And you also want to have an ability to keep up past inflation, which is the second piece of raising the rent on a property. Where's that at? Yeah, right here. Raising the rent on the property another 5%. Right now, the feds have been like, oh, we're going to stop doing what we're doing. We're going to ease and start lowering the rates when we get down to 2%, 2 point whatever, 2.6, which they are, and they've already started lowering. But I promise you, it's going to go back up. It always does. Why? Because they got to print money to keep stimulating the economy. When they lower the rate, they're going to print money, give it back to you so you can start spending it again. And that's going to do what? Raise inflation. You need to be in a vehicle that goes up. And that's an inflation hedge. Real assets like multifamily property that are dictated, the value is dictated by the rents, they're inflation hedges. And like I said, as this right here can continue to go up in revenue, your money continues to grow with it, right? Because of the value of that. And then when it's all said and done, when you turn around and sell, you get your money back plus the profit of the asset that you were in. That's how the wealth effect happens. And if you can refinance in the deal, get your money out on a refinance, now it's not taxable, which is the ultimate game. I'll go over a video where we talk about the tax game. The ultimate game to all of this is to not pay any taxes on any of it, even this cash flow. Because if you can depreciate the property, you as a partner or as an investor get K1s and you get that pass-through depreciation and offset your revenue that you got from the property. Most of this 325 that you got will not be taxed, and or maybe none of it. And then later refinance your money out. That'll be a non-taxable event. You got your all money back and you're still in the deal. So you still get these write-offs and the benefits of being an owner in the real estate. Like, this is how the wealthy play the game. They may do it in business. They may do it in whatever. Real estate itself is the best way to do it as a regular, everyday person, right? This is the most sophisticated yet simple way to do that. Now, I know I over-explain shit because I get all excited when I'm educating, but let me tell you, if I showed you a deal that you really loved and I was like, dude, put 500 grand in here. You can expect 5% on your money. We know we're going to raise the rents over the time we hold it up to 5%. That's our target. Then later, you're going to get more money. And then when I go back to the bank, I'm going to refinance, give you your money back, keep you in the deal. That'll be non-taxable. And then later, when we go back and sell it, we'll sell it. And then you'll get more money. Like, that's the game. While you're still working on your business, growing your stuff, like I said, if you're a heavy hitter, you don't have time to do all this. That's why you invest with a guy like me who I eat, sleep, and breathe this shit. I love it. That's the game. This is the game that I'm going to play for the rest of my life. I'm building Bell Capital to help investors like you do it because I'm going to do it. This is where I want my family's money. We're going to be a real estate family, or we are a real estate family. We have been, but we're going to be a private equity real estate family. And you as the investors get to do that as well. Whether you do it with me or you do it with somebody else, you have to play this game. This is how the wealthy get wealthier. So you hear people say that all the time. The wealthy gets more wealthy. This is how. They're not working a job and they're not cranking away at their business either. Their money is multiplying while they're cranking away at their business. And eventually they sell their business to private equity or a hedge fund, and then all their investment assets continue to grow and they dance off into the sunset. I'm not going to do that. I like what I do. And I'm building a company that'll eventually, become an institution because that's what I want based on the assets that we buy, the multifamily deals that we're looking at. So do this with me, man. This is the wealth effect. I know I go over it fast. I can be somewhat confusing, but don't get confused. Watch this video. This is what Wall Street does. Try to confuse you. I simplified something that is extremely complicated. Extremely complicated. Why? Because we don't have taught this. So this is the wealth effect. How do you turn 500 grand into 1.375? This is how. This is really how it's done. So I hope this is exciting to you as it is to me, but this is the wealth effect. Use it, play this game. If you got 500 grand sitting in an account, you're interested in talking about investing, just talking. One, you got to be accredited. Two, you got to have a good attitude. Three, you got to love real estate and the idea, the potential of appreciation, cash flow, all that stuff. I want to talk to you. We're here to help you. Go to bell-capital.com and you can at least take a look at what we're working on. Deals we're working right now, why we like these deals, the markets we're in. And if it's not right now, great. At least have a conversation with us and ask questions. Can I invest in my IRA? What's the term? How does this work? How much do you think I should invest? Like all of those things are valuable. We're here to help you. We're here to serve. And I got you on that. So like this video, share this video, comment on it. Leave a comment, ask a question. We're here for you. We will answer it. I will answer it. I look at all the comments. And if there's something you want to learn more about, leave that in the comments too, and I'll make the video. So aside from that, the wealth effect, you got to do this. You owe it to you and your family to put your money to work and multiply your money and play this wealth game. This is how the wealthy continue to get wealthy. This is the wealth effect. Let's go. You can do it too. Boom. Are you an accredited investor with $300,000 or more liquid in the bank? I want you to come and partner with me. Look, if you love real estate, passive income, and positive cash flow, appreciation over long periods of time, and you're willing to be patient, come invest with me. Go to bell-capital.com. This is for accredited investors with $300,000 or more in the bank, ready to go. Come invest with me. Go to bell-capital.com.